If you think that it appears as though my Miniswarm N5 NAS is wearing a Ryzen AI Halo hat, for lack of a better way to describe it, you would be correct. It's Strix Halo with a Strix Halo hat. Why does the Strix Halo NAS, which is already like, it's a dimension of great, like, what is going on here? I have projects. That's why I do these things. There are projects that I work on. This is one of the more insane ones, but it's going to improve USB 4. It's going to improve USB 4 for everybody, especially when you're using it to connect one device to another because of changes in the Linux kernel 7.2. Let's discuss. Okay, this little setup has 192 gigs of VRAM, 128 plus 64. And what I'm doing is running AI jobs on my home NAS. And I know everything's unaffordable right now, but the software is going to help everybody. And eventually, things will probably be affordable once again, I hope. Probably, sort of, kind of. So I did a video on this, the N5 Max, and running Proxmox on it. And that's great, that's all well and good. And I've done a ton of videos on Strix Halo machines. Kind of a lot, because there's a lot of different Strix Halo configurations. Everything from the G1A laptop from HP and the Flow Z13 from Asus, portable devices. I ran into many of you at Advancing AI at AMD, but it's not about AI, and it's not about, well, I mean, it's a little bit about AI, but it's mostly not about the AI stuff here. This is more of an interface. Going back to Minis Forum, mini PCs, where you could get the 10 gig SFP plus it also had dual Thunderbolt or dual USB 4. That's the same thing here. It's a 40 gigabit interface, and you can use it for direct machine-to-machine connections. But it has kind of a lot of overhead, which I don't love. Well, Mac people wanting to build clusters finally figured that out. That pulled the Thunderbolt out of the dumpster, which was, it's crazy to me that the Thunderbolt was as bad as it was on Apple until the Mac Studio people came along and until AI. Now it's actually pretty cool. You can plug a Thunderbolt cable in your Mac laptop into like a Mac Studio or a Mac Mini and transfer files and do things like that really quickly. It's so cool. Intel even latched onto it with Thunderbolt 5. So if you have a laptop with Thunderbolt 5, the Razer dock, I did a video on the Razer dock, and you want to like share that between devices or use the Thunderbolt interface to transfer files, there's more stuff in Windows now to be able to handle that. There's more stuff with Thunderbolt 5 and the Intel utilities to be able to handle those kinds of things, which is just mind-blowing. Enter Ryzen AI Halo. You want to build a cluster around that. Well, the problem is that it's only got the one 10 gigabit Ethernet interface. And 10 gigabit Ethernet is fine. You can transfer at 1 gigabyte per second, but it's nowhere near the 200 gigabit QSFP interface that DGX Spark has. NVIDIA has built a little mini machine for serious AI that is also like not super fast, but has a lot of mechanical analogs, like fabulously expensive AI clusters. And so as a result of that, you could put together 2 Sparks, or crazy people have done 4 Sparks, and the software looks like it does on much, much more expensive machines that cost, you know, hundreds of thousands of dollars plus in terms of how they interface and how they do stuff. Strix Halo costs less, but it doesn't have a 200 gig interface. Donato and Jeff Geerling have both done videos. The Strix Halo Toolboxes guy, Donato, have both done videos on using the Intel E810 to do clustering through PCI Express. I have as well with the Framework desktop, but neither one of these have PCI Express expansion. Could you plug 2 of the AI Halos into each other and cluster them through Thunderbolt? Oh yes, you absolutely could. I don't have 2 AI Halos. I've got an AI Halo and the N5 NAS. Hence why it's wearing a hat. I've got a Thunderbolt connection from here to there. And I've got a thread on the forum that explains the different benchmarking and stuff that's available. You can run Thunderbolt direct connection right now in InfiniBand, and that will give you a high-speed, low-latency connection between these 2 machines. Now, you know, everybody calls Thunderbolt 4 40 gigabit, and it is 40 gigabit, but what they mean is it's 20 gigabit each way. It's different. PCI Express, a lot of the time you say, oh, it's PCI Express Gen 5. You got 4 lanes of PCI Express Gen 5. That's 16 gigabytes per second. 16 gigabytes per second each way. 32 gigabytes per second, because it can do each way at the same time. Thunderbolt can't really do that. I mean, Thunderbolt 5 has some, you can play it a little fast and loose with Thunderbolt 5, and you can say, okay, I'm going to do 120 gigabit one way and 40 gigabit the other, or 80 and 80, but not Thunderbolt 5. This is Thunderbolt 4. So, Linux kernel 7.2 has a new thing called USB Stream, and this is another option for transferring files. And so what I wondered was, is it possible to build a little interface for USB Stream that would work really well with VLLM and use it for VLLM clustering? The jury's still out on that a little bit because kernel 7.2 is new, but let me walk you through the how-to. All right, first up, the Ryzen AI Halo ships with kernel 6. The kernel that it ships with is way too old. I'm using a release candidate for kernel 7.2. So if you want to do the USB Stream version of this how-to, you're going to be on the bleeding edge, or you're going to have to look at follow-up content on a level 1 text forum. I just wanted to put this on your radar. But the stuff that I'm showing you here now today doesn't require the new kernel. You can set up the Thunderbolt interface now, and my testing is pretty good. It is much lower latency than the Ethernet interface, and perfectly reasonable to approach clustering here. So this gives us some options. I can build a Proxmox cluster, so if I want to do away with the Ryzen AI Halo software and run Proxmox on this, and then use our awesome guide for Proxmox to get ROCm up and running in a container on Proxmox, and then I can run ROCm, containerized ROCm workloads and migrate the workloads between the machines and have little Docker containers. Qwen 3.6, the 35 billion parameter, especially with multi-token prediction on this, is really amazing. But if you also just want to build a Proxmox cluster and have a high-speed interface to be able to migrate VMs, this video applies to you too. This is a great way to do that. It doesn't travel over your Ethernet network, it travels over the Thunderbolt interface. So I don't really need to go on about this for a long time. Basically just, if you want to do a high-speed Thunderbolt connection, there's tons of cool stuff coming in kernel 7.2. It's definitely worth upgrading. But if you want to set up Thunderbolt networking now for your nodes, it's easier than ever. It's more stable than ever. Give it a try. If you run into problems, stability or otherwise, let me know. Hit me up in the forum. But it's already going really fast on this in terms of being able to do clustering. And look for follow-up threads on the forum if you want to see AI benchmarks or anything like that. But it's not really about the AI side of it. You can use it for AI clustering. It's more about, hey, USB 4 as a network option has gotten more mature than ever because of the AI people. But it's really super handy for Proxmox and any other kind of cluster that you could want to use because it's a dedicated 20 gigabit link between machines. And that's why my NAS has a AI Halo hat temporarily, because I'm using that for debugging, which is pretty cool. And we can get into it if you want, but I'm also using an automated AI agent to help me debug and test the interface, following some skills that I wrote using Turnstone. But that's probably a different video. I'm Widowless Level 1. This has been a quick look at what's going on with my, why? What are you doing? It's pretty cool having home automation. Like, this would be the perfect thing if it wasn't wildly expensive to just build your ultimate home brain for automation and everything else. Home assistant, high availability, networking, forbidden router. I'm Widowless Level 1. I'm signing out. You can find me in the Level 1 forums. Woo!